In 2006, the long-dormant French literary scene suddenly came alive with the appearance of a book. 2 years, 2 million copies sold, 30 consecutive weeks on the bestseller list, reprinted 50 times, and the recipient of 3 national and international awards. It catapulted an unknown author to global fame. A Parisian newspaper hailed it as the national novel. This book was The Elegance of the Hedgehog, penned by Muriel Barbery. Upon its widespread popularity, the author was astonished by how much readers loved her book. Because, at first glance, the story within wasn't truly all that elegant. The main character is Renée, a 54-year-old middle-aged woman. She is unattractive, with a slightly hunched back, always looking fierce, like an evil witch from a fairy tale. She has no children. Her daily life revolves around guarding the gates of a luxurious residential complex to earn a living. Another character is Paloma, a 12-year-old girl born into a wealthy family, yet constantly contemplating ending her own life. One is of humble status, the other of noble wealth. One a hired gatekeeper, the other a pampered young lady. These two seemingly disparate individuals actually share a profound connection. A story told in such a way might not be called beautiful, but it perfectly articulates the vague struggles of modern people. How should we live this life to face loss with grace and ease? How can we be reborn amidst loneliness? Haruki Murakami once said, "To grow up is to fight, to be hurt, to be lost, to experience loss and loneliness, yet we must continue to live." It's as if we live like hedgehogs, extending sharp quills outward, solely to protect our own soft, solitary hearts. And it seems that halfway through our lives, we will realize that true freedom is only achieved when we learn to embrace loneliness. On life's journey, everyone is a lonely traveler. The character Renée has worked as a gatekeeper for 27 years in a luxurious apartment complex. The people living there are all high-status, highly educated individuals. The only discordant note in that opulent space is Renée herself, far from elegant with her unattractive appearance and a fate crushed by poverty since childhood. She has always felt lost amidst everything around her. In school, she was shunned by classmates and looked down upon by teachers. As an adult, she impulsively married an older man, only to be rejected by her entire family. She then followed her husband to work as a gatekeeper, living like a mouse scurrying into a cramped room. Later, her husband fell gravely ill and passed away, leaving Renée to exist alone through the years in the shadows of loneliness. Every day, she hunches over by the gate, watching people come and go, her eyes vacant, like a dusty, outdated decoration in a forgotten corner of a room. No one greets her. Some residents live there for a decade without even knowing she exists. In stark contrast to this impoverished fate, there's another peculiar individual in the complex, young Paloma. Paloma hails from an enviable family. Her father is about to become a member of parliament, her mother is a doctor, and her older sister graduated from university with honors. Yet, this outwardly perfect life is riddled with imperfections. Paloma's mother loves to quote famous sayings at dinner, even when she doesn't understand their meaning. Her sister is arrogant and self-absorbed. Her father is rigid, unemotional, and cowardly. Paloma herself is exceptionally intelligent, even a genius. At school, Paloma is considered an outcast, and few understand her unique philosophical reflections on life. In her dreams, Paloma longs for a friend to play with, but reality offers nothing of the sort. Paloma is truly very lonely. The linguist Li Jianlin once said, "On the journey of life, everyone is a lonely traveler." Don't you see? No matter who you are, if you are different from others, it can be hard to be accepted in this world. But is it because we ourselves have issues, or because others simply don't understand us? Who can walk in your shoes? Who can tread the path you are walking? Who can taste your joys and sorrows for you? In this world, absolute empathy is hard to come by, because each person's destiny is different. Their ways of thinking, perception, and worldview vary. These are the distances between us. As the philosopher Katrin once said, "Every person is an island in the sea. If you want to develop yourself, you must face solitude." The more different you are, the fewer companions you will have. The more unique you are, the easier it is to be abandoned. And you will eventually realize the profound truth of the ancients. The law of the world is birth and death in loneliness, where are companions to be found? Parents, once seen as almighty superheroes in our hearts, now, without us realizing it, have their hair flecked with gray. Each year we grow older is also a year closer to the day we bid them farewell. Old friends with whom we once chatted endlessly now fear disturbing each other even with a text. The older we get, the more acutely we feel how difficult it is to find someone who can truly accompany us forever. Life is like a dress rehearsal for farewells. We see people off, then others see us off. People around us come and go, but perhaps very few truly care about you. Our social media friend lists grow longer, yet few speak true words to us. There are nights of severe illness, shivering alone in bed. There are days of hurt and frustration at work, searching for someone to confide in, but finding none. In countless moments of life, an intense feeling of loneliness surges like a tide, threatening to engulf you. But you need to know that loneliness is a normal state of life. As Zhuangzi said, to come alone to go alone. Yet, living with oneself is the root of one's life. Bustle is the festival of others. Loneliness is your own freedom. When faced with solitude, one can either bristle like a hedgehog or dance with it. Renée, short, stout, uneducated, lives quietly with her cat. Her days consist of monotonous, repetitive tasks: guarding, opening, closing gates, cleaning, delivering mail, occasionally helping residents clean apartments or take out trash in the luxurious complex. A person of her humble status could never live the refined life of the grand ladies. In the eyes of outsiders, her life is incredibly dull, spent watching silly TV shows all day. But whenever her door closes, it's a completely different world. Renée breaks off a piece of dark chocolate, savors it, sips tea, and reads a book. Her cramped, impoverished apartment has only one room with a door, but she doesn't use it for sleeping. She sleeps on a folding chair outside and uses that room as a library, filled to the brim with books. Despite her poverty, Renée has created her own small library. She is like a hedgehog, concealing her true self, only allowing others to see what they expect to see. After all, people believe a gatekeeper should be a certain way. And in this manner, when she returns to being herself, she can be free, unconstrained, and avoid unnecessary troubles. She unhesitatingly feigns foolishness and indifference, never contacting anyone except for necessary work. No one suspects that inside the room where the TV often blares, there exists a tranquil heaven of books, where an elegant and profound soul can freely soar. Renée wanders in her own small world, enjoying solitude, freedom, and contentment. But unfortunately, not everyone can live as reclusively as Renée. Take Paloma, for instance. She views loneliness as her greatest enemy and vows to fight it. She tries to engage her older sister in philosophical discussions, only to be ridiculed and told she has problems in her head. She wants to connect with her family, but feels utterly disgusted and repulsed when her relatives start boasting about trivial things. When she goes shopping with her mother, seeing a crowd of ladies queuing for discounted designer items, she finds them foolish and superficial. She tried to befriend classmates, but in the end, no one became close to her. Paloma, feeling unaccepted, ultimately turns herself into an enemy of solitude. Within this young girl lies a true sophistication and sensitivity to the world, yet also the directness and mischievousness of a child. She has already seen through the true nature of the privileged class's life and her own destiny. I've already foreseen the rest of my life trapped in a fishbowl, while adults are like flies on the surface, bumping against the glass, back and forth. She feels that behind the elegant facade of their wealthy lives, it's all too absurd. Paloma despairs of life, and so she decides to plan her suicide and burn down her parents' apartment on her 13th birthday. Renée and Paloma, both solitary, both lost in the crowd, yet taking completely different paths. One uses loneliness to heal herself, the other is driven to extremes by it. As it has been said, those who can endure solitude are either gods or beasts. When facing loneliness, some people place all meaning of life upon others. Once the outside world fails to meet their desires, they suffer. Others find a way to be content with their circumstances. Even if no one cares for them, they can still live a wonderful life alone. Fighting against loneliness, fearing it, trying to seek acceptance from outside the result, is only to drive oneself into despair. Conversely, only by living like a ray of light in one's own cave can one illuminate one's own dark fate. Only by integrating loneliness into life can loneliness be forged into armor to withstand the winds and snows of life. Those who can dance with loneliness carry elegance within them. One day, a new resident moved into the apartment complex, living right next to Paloma's home. Mr. Kakuro Azu, an elegant Japanese man in his 60s. When Kakuro first met Renée, he was utterly astonished when she casually uttered a line, "Unfortunate people are unhappy in their own ways." He never expected an elderly, unattractive woman to be able to quote classic books with such ease, and so, driven by curiosity, he began to approach Renée. He invited Renée to dinner, concerts, art exhibitions, and Renée, admiring his polite and respectful demeanor towards others, regardless of their circumstances, no longer refused as she had before. Hearing Renée's assessments of paintings and music, listening to her explain her understanding of literature and art, and seeing her leisurely sip afternoon tea, Kakuro couldn't help but exclaim in admiration, "You are truly elegant, like a queen." As if he had discovered a treasure, Kakuro enthusiastically encouraged Paloma to befriend Renée. And indeed, one day, by chance, Paloma went into Renée's room and saw a psychology book on Renée's table. The girl was immediately captivated by Renée's unique way of life. After a few conversations, Paloma admired Renée so much that she abandoned her previous destructive intentions. The truth proved that Renée was not the uncouth old woman everyone perceived her to be, but a kind person with wonderful thoughts and wisdom. She disliked noise but lived with great serenity in her own world. In her small, quiet, and gentle corner, she found a way to dissipate all worries and fears, achieving self-reconciliation and inner peace. Renée, seemingly abandoned by loneliness, left alone in the crowd, had in fact learned to dance with loneliness, and that dance was what made her most graceful. She was like the desert flower described in the poem, the lonely one who disdains to reveal her breath to the passing breeze, for she can bloom only to astound herself. As Schopenhauer said, only when a person is alone can he truly become himself. Loneliness surges like a tide, but it is also when the hustle and bustle of the outside world recedes, when we can truly see our authentic selves in the calm sea and live the life we desire with confidence. Reconciliation with loneliness in stillness helps us cultivate great wisdom. Each of us can create beautiful chapters in our lives. Even if we hear no one sing, we can proudly dance alone with solitude. The person who can befriend loneliness always carries within them a calm, relaxed, and independent elegance. At the end of the novel, on a very ordinary morning, Renée died, run over by a truck while saving a homeless man. She didn't even have a proper funeral, hastily departing from everything. But her death caused Paloma to begin to understand that her so-called suicide plan was merely an extreme way of resisting loneliness. The girl's perspective on the meaning of life completely changed, and she decided to face life anew. Renée ended her wonderful life in this way, leaving her elegant essence to forever endure in a chaotic world. In the book, the author wrote that we are all lonely hedgehogs. Only those on the same frequency can truly see the nameless elegance in each other's hearts. Whenever loneliness strikes, we might panic, feel confused, raise our quills, and pretend to be fierce. But once you accept the truth that humanity is a solitary entity and live authentically in the universe, you will find your own freedom, transforming loneliness into self-salvation. Life is always a solitary journey. Before loneliness, there is confusion. After loneliness, there is growth. Perhaps sometimes you will still wonder how to escape loneliness, how to be reborn within loneliness. The pages of this novel will provide you with the answer. Consider loneliness a gift from God. Even in the vortex of loneliness, we can still make it our crown. Let the wind blow and the rain fall, I can leisurely stroll alone on this journey of life. We come and go, always alone. No one will be by our side forever. A lifetime is like spring, summer, autumn, winter. Why be sad when someone leaves? Instead of passively accepting loneliness, it is better to actively embrace and adorn it, making it shine like a gem of life. May both you and I be able to dance, drink tea, and read books with loneliness, building a sanctuary in our hearts. Even when there's nowhere else to go outside, we can always return to our own rich inner world.